Welcome back to Tran Wins, Sorcerian. It's been, I don't know, maybe a month since I last played. And there's always that problem of getting back to the game after you've been away from it for a while. So last time we played Scenario 1, that's all of these. Map 1, that's Stolen Scepter. So this is called 1-1, and then Lost Talisman is 1-2, and Lucifer's Floodgate is 1-3, and so forth. So this is 1-4, 1-5. 1-2 requires 10 vitality to open doors, and so forth. So like this one requires 15, 20, 25. We're going to actually skip the rest of Scenario 1, and we're going to go on to Scenario 2. So this is 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, 2-4, 2-5. This requires 5 vitality, 10 vitality, 15, 20, 25 vitality. So in this way, I plan on doing 1-1, 2-1, 3-1. So all the first maps of every campaign or scenario. Master of the Dark Marsh, an ancient and deceitful red dragon has tricked a young woman into marrying him. Her father has called for help in rescuing her. Save young Lisa from herself and return her to her father's house. I'm going to read the text intro from the manual. Lisa was lost. She had wandered from her father's house in the forest, now found herself in the center of a great gloomy marsh, where one direction looked exactly like any other. Are you lost? She turned around to see a young man smiling at her. Lisa nodded, tears springing to her eyes. I lost sight of my house. I can't even tell which direction it's in. The young man put his arm around her shoulders. Don't cry, pretty girl. I'll take you to the edge of the forest and you can find your way home from there. You don't have to be afraid anymore. He held out his hand and she took it. As they walked, she watched him out of the corner of her eye and thought how beautiful he was. He told her his name was Fragiore and he lived by himself in the marsh. Along the way, they talked and laughed together. Then, just before sunset, they came to the edge of the forest. Lisa's heart sank, for she knew she would have to say goodbye to the young man, and that they might never meet again. She realized that she had fallen in love with him. How can I ever repay you for your help? She asked him. There is something you can do for me, he replied, though perhaps it is asking too much. I have been lonely in that unlit marsh. I have often thought of taking a wife, but until today I never met anyone I wanted to ask. He looked down at her with eyes as black as the space between the stars. Will you come away into the marsh with me and be my wife? Lisa's father was horrified. You foolish girl, don't you know who Fragiore is? What he is? I'm going away to be with him and you can't stop me, Lisa shouted. She ran to the edge of the marsh where her young man waited. She did not want to hear that Fragiore was actually the master of the Dark Marsh, an ancient and evil red dragon. My goal statement is, not far from Pentawa, there is a dark marsh where dwells an ancient red dragon called Fragiore. He can no longer fly and he cannot leave the marsh, but he is still powerful and full of deceit. He has tricked a young woman into marrying him, and her father has sent out a call for help. Someone must go into the marsh and convince her to leave Fragiore and return to her home before this awful marriage takes place. You've come just in time. I need your help. Please listen to my story. My name is Gunda. I lived here with my young daughter Lisa until the magician Fragiore posed as a handsome young man and wooed her away. Now he has used his enchantments to change her into an ugly bullfrog. Please help me. Get my daughter away from him and return her to normal. Yeah, of course we will. Oh, thank you. You are very brave and very kind. He is keeping her in a house beyond that mountain there. Yeah, it doesn't look like I can talk to him. Let's see here, what's a good speed? Jump! Now this contains an object. Wolf's Bane. I'm just gonna put it back though. If you're carrying it with you, people won't like you. Specifically, the idiot chick. Now you might think I'm being a little too harsh, but wait until you talk to her.
My father sent you, didn't he? Well, it's no use. I'm not leaving.
This is Lisa, by the way. She looks like Jabba the Hutt.
I'm going to marry Fragiore. Don't get any ideas about stopping me. Why are you still bothering me? Go back where you came from. Well, maybe I'll help you. You'll have to bring your cauldron through. It's hidden behind a pillar in the ruins of the old castle, but watch out for zombies. They're all over that place.
Alright, so after pestering enough, she tells you how to help her. And if you had the Mandragora and the Wolfsbane with you, she wouldn't take too kindly to your presence. So yeah, she decides to, you know, she meets a dude for a short while, and, you know, her father tries to say, hey, this dude, he's like the evil overlord of a swamp full of zombies, orcs, and monsters. You know, you might not want to marry him. She's like, no, Dad, I marry who I want. It's true love. I'm checking to see if there's loot. There it is. You have, yeah. So you have to press up to find things most of the time, or jump anyways. So I ran over here. You have to stand behind the pillar and then jump. You have found the cauldron. I'm having a little bit of problem navigating. Once your characters take flight, like pressing forward makes them jump. So if you release forward at any point, then of course they start going back down. So you don't jump as high as you could. You put the cauldron on the stove. You place the cauldron. I know the ingredients for the potion to make me human again, but I don't know if I want to use it. The ingredients are Wolfsbane, Mandragora, and a beehive, but I don't know if I'll make the potion. I think I'd just as soon stay here with Fragiore and be married. You need all the ingredients if you're going to make the potion. You put the Wolfsbane into the cauldron. You put the Mandragora into the cauldron. That's magic. I think that's heal spell. So that's this, or maybe it's revive for all I know. I think it's revive. I like magic because it doesn't make sound, but I suppose I could disable the sound effects in the game. Some sort of monster standing guard, he glares at you.
You, human, what business do you have here? This place is sacred to Fragiore. Only he can come in here. Begone! What do you think you're doing?
Alright, so these guys are just basically walls. That's all they are. So you can wander aimlessly like I'm doing, make your own map, which I did a long time ago, or look up an FAQ. Right now I'm just sort of wandering aimlessly. I'll probably cut out wandering around. Because I just don't feel like making a map right now. I know I want to go to the right, but I thought there was also some to the left, or left wall. Okay, yeah, this is the guard you have to bump into, by the way. So I didn't cut anything out yet.
I don't feel well, and I'm short on patience. Why are you bothering me? Go away!
You received the Bloodstone. Alright, there should be something else I'm supposed to get around here. Hold on. Okay, well, I looked in the FAQ and it doesn't have a map. You look inside the altar, but you find nothing. I was supposed to find the Moonstone and Bloodstone at opposite ends of the maze. So we just have to talk to the guards until we find one that says something different. When I say supposed to, I mean like that's technically how it's always going to happen. It's not like it's randomized. It's just set up that way to make it sound like something strange is going on.
I don't feel well and I'm short on patience. Why are you bothering me? Go away.
Alright, now to make my way out. Oh, that wasn't too bad. I guess I probably won't have to edit any scenes out. That's good, because I didn't really want to. I feel like something is lost sometimes when I have to edit out some things. Whoops. That's a character swap button. Alright, so I'm not saying your parents always know best about whether you should date a guy or not, but I would say siding away from your parents for a guy you just met who is a renowned serial killer and dark overlord also turns you into this probably does not have your best interests in mind. You placed a beehive into the cauldron. Do you have all the ingredients? Well, you can make the potion then. But I don't think I'll take it. I never promised I would, you know. I've decided to stay here and you can't stop me. Alright, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to kill the dragon, talk to our old man again, or what. Save myself a little bit of time when I look at the FAQ. Alright, well it says get the Jack's Flame. I must have missed that. I think it's an area with these little demon dudes. The ones that are bouncing behind me. I have to find out where that might be. I can also attack Fragiore. I don't know if I can attack him now or if I need everything first. Okay, yeah, this is an area I haven't explored. This is probably it. There it is. You take the Jack's Flame. Let's see here. F5 save. There's the wizard right there. Alright, let's talk to him. The strange magician says, I am Fragiore, stranger. Why do you want to help this ugly frog? Maybe you think I transformed her against her will? No, not at all. Alright, at this point we can leave, or we can continue to hassle him. So, are you ready to battle the red dragon? Yes. Boom! You won a battle and gain 250 XP. Alright, so again, there's a win state, so if there are no monsters spawning, you've entered that win state, you can find special loot. Since there's monsters spawning, I have not entered that win state. What did you say? He was laughing at me? That's a lie! What are you doing back here? What are you doing back here? Go ahead and cook it all together. I'm sorry, are you too lazy? Is it too tough for you to fit through this hall? Because you turned yourself into a frog here? You start the fire with Jack's Flame. As the ingredients begin to cook, the steam gives off an unpleasant odor. Maybe I should take the potion after all. Maybe I don't belong here. Yeah, you don't think you belong with a bunch of zombies. You take the cauldron. A strong, acrid odor arises from the black potion in the cauldron. Lisa takes a sip of the foul-smelling potion. Thank you for healing me. If it weren't for you, I'd still be a slimy bullfrog. I guess I've known the truth about Fragiore all along. Really? Really? And you just went along with it? But I wanted to believe that he was really what he told me he was. Now I'll go back home where I should have stayed all along. Alright, so now I've entered the win state so I can find rare items. Looks like for this map, the only one that's listed is a Coin of Joy. Now there might be items not listed in this FAQ, but I'm not gonna really go hunting for it. So I'm just gonna trust in the FAQ. Whoops. Okay, in this one you actually have to walk forward. There is a box in front of the door, and in the box is a letter. Dear friend, forgive me for leaving without saying goodbye, but we cannot stay here any longer. Now that Lisa is well again, we have decided to go far away from this marsh and its memories. Yeah, I think zombies technically spawn in this area, so yeah, I think you should have left a long time ago. Please accept this coin, the Coin of Joy, with my thanks. You take the Coin of Joy. I shall increase your EXP by 200. Brave one, receive a reward of gold from your king. So if you did this normally, you'd have a total of 61 gold divided between 4 people. I will always be grabbing items and bringing them with me on expeditions and sell for tons of money. Wrong place. course, I'll equip myself, but I'll do it off camera. So those last two could not level up. How am I doing on vitality? I can open level 2 doors, okay. This will be tethered to the end of episode 2, because that's when it's happening chronologically. I went ahead and spent like an hour kind of researching and taking notes and trying and failing and experimenting with magic and chanting. So let's go ahead and get to that. So we're going to take Bobo's axe, and I'm going to explain a little about this. So you can remove an ailment on yourself, you can resurrect a dead ally, not the same person who has to go to town, your dead character can't go to town, and then you can get back the item that you give to her to enchant. So we're going to enchant an item. So we're going to start with Goran's axe. Now these stats here, the magician or the elder guy, he tells you the wrong stat is increased when you enchant. So like for Mars, I think he says intelligence, but it's really strength. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do see, I took notes on it. I made a little log of things I wanted to do. So for my notes, it says slow enchant with Saturn once. Okay, so she'll finish in 3 years. She finishes faster if you have higher karma. That's not too much of a big deal for me because I've got gold. And then I'm going to say that, let's see here. Training field. And he happened to have enough dexterity to avoid traps, which this trap escapes. I can pick this and raise my dexterity by like 5. But instead I'm going to get trap knowledge and it'll completely negate the point of dexterity. This will take 2 years. Yes. That's essentially how this works, is you spend time letting your things get enchanted, and you can use some of that time adventuring, working your job. That's the first step for Bobo. I've got to do a little bit more for him, though. Now it says, take Avdeling's longsword and enchant with Rejuvenate. Now that takes 200 mana to cast, so I won't be able to cast it for some time. It also lowers your stats when you cast it. So I've written in my notes that says, quick enchant with Mars once. Now the thing about the longsword is it has 2 strength and 2 vitality on it right now. So I'm going to give it another Mars, so it'll go up to 3 strength and 2 vitality. Here's what I'm going to do though. Instead of waiting 3 years, I'm going to take back my item. 3 more years are required before the magic takes effect. Do you want to bet? The enchantment takes place effect immediately, but the spell isn't unlocked until then. If you're not interested in the spell changing, then it doesn't matter. You can also unlock it immediately with gold by going to the Elder's house. Alright, so I did a quick enchant with Mars. Now my notes say do a slow enchant with Venus. Now, magic is actually really confusing in this game because I'm going to enchant it with a Venus, but I'm not going to get a Venus stat on this, and it's going to... It conflicts with the current enchantments, and it becomes some completely different random... Not random. Completely different enchantment. So, I will come back to that later. Now, normally, when I would play this game, there's 4 lores. I would make each character learn one of the 4 lores. But I don't really need study use of herbs. In fact, I don't think I've ever used herbs. So I'm going to make the first 2 characters do traps. Alright, so for Sorella, I'm going to take the blue ball and enchant with Mars once. Now, because Glimmin is a ranger in Super Dungeon Tactics, I'll make Glimmin do study monsters. Then I use Sorella with study items. She's the historian anyways in Super Dungeon Tactics. So now she can identify treasure on the way out of a dungeon. Finally, we got Glimmin. She doesn't actually have any unique items right now. So I'm going to go ahead and create her one. And this one will be a little bit more in-depth than the others. Actually, no, the others are quite in-depth because there's a lot of confliction there. But you don't get to see it this moment, and not until I pass some time. However, this one you'll see right now. So I'm going to quick enchant with Mars 3 times. We're going to say her wooden cane. This will get rid of her free flame spell, but let's go ahead and do that. So over Mars, give me back. Enchant. Mars, give me back. Enchant. Mars, give me back. Now, I can't keep enchanting Mars on this point. I won't get any more Mars points. What I can do though is I can start giving it some Mercury. Give me back. Mercury. Give me back. And Mercury. Give me back. Alright, next up I'm going to quick enchant Saturn twice. Saturn eggs is actually any use It just raises your karma, which sounds cool because all these talent things need karma. But as far as I can tell, I did through my tests, it does not reduce your XP, I don't think. I shouldn't test that. It doesn't reduce your gold it costs to do things. I haven't checked to see if it reduces your XP needed, though. Anyways, but I'm going to go and make it max karma anyway. So I'm going to do this. A quick Saturn. Give you back. Give me another quick Saturn. Give you back. And then give me a slow Saturn. This is what I termed it in my notes. So now I'm going to get free spell unlocks, essentially. Because otherwise I could just go to the Elder's house. And I can pay him to examine my belongings. And he'll say, hey, here's the stats on it. And would you like me to unlock the spell that's inside? Well, I'll go ahead and unlock it after 3 years. Alright, that's everybody. Now, these characters are in training right now, and when you're training, you don't actually get the occupation bonus. Now, when the year ends of your training, you do get your occupation bonus. Here's what I mean. So right now, Bobo is a blacksmith. He should be getting vitality every year. So let's go and advance 1 year, and he doesn't have vitality. But the next year, he ends his training. So you'll watch his training go from 11 to 13. So Glimmin, her max stat is 15 because her level is only 1 right now. So I'm going to make her something else. Let's say... We'll change her to... Let's see, a florist for a year. She needs an extra dex if I want to keep her above 0. I don't know why, but I'm gonna try to max these guys out because I've never done that before. So I'm gonna try to get all these characters' stats maxed. It may be better just to have one stat be super penalized and then raise it later, but for right now, this is how I'm going to try it. Alright, so she's going to be a florist, which will raise her dexterity. I'm going to try to raise it to being even with strength. Let's see here. Actually, you know what? Hold on. No, my bad. Actually, I'm going to make her a... fabric maker. So she'll get 1 karma at the end of this next year. Okay. Now, it's too early for me to get my item, so let's continue training. Karma is useful for lowering your experience, so experience required for leveling up. So I'm going to make everybody level up in Karma. That was something I never really paid much attention to when I played this the first 100 times. And then for you, I'm going to make you do something else. Let's say... I'll make you master magic. Even though you don't have any attack spells. Alright, so now everybody's in training again. Alright, so you're not maxed in Karma Good, you're not maxed in Karma Good, you're not maxed, and you are now maxed, so now I can change it to something else. So we'll change you now to a florist. And let's go and collect the items. Okay, hold on. Actually, hold on. So now Goran's axe has Death Arrow on it. Let me double check that. Let me make sure it actually worked, and I'll just save little money it costs me. I'll show you what the stats look like anyways. So the gold cost of everything increases the more you put on it as an enchantment. It started with 3 strength to begin with, and what I did was I gave it a Saturn, and that's actually stuck. Now none of this is going to be a surprise to me because I went ahead and applied 1 of everything, wrote down the results for everything, and as well as what spell it unlocks. So these are the choices that I've decided are the best for the starting gear for my party and how I want to play. Alright, so I gave him 1 Saturn, which just raises karma. Not a big deal. Doesn't actually do much for me. However, I'm going to go ahead... Now, Moon is actually pretty easy to put on things. Saturn is not too hard either, but Moon is really easy, at least for these first couple items. So, yeah, he said that I have Death Arrow on this. So let's go ahead and load, because I'm going to save my cash. Collect my item. Alright, so that was the first Saturn, so we're going to give it a quick Saturn enchant. And another quick Saturn enchant. So now it should be at 3 Saturn. Now we're going to give it 3 Moon enchantments. 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't want her to... This is going to change what Death Arrow would have been. Like, so I don't want her to finish that enchantment. So by doing this, I not only have a spell with a different requirements on the weapon, but my stat gains are higher. So let me explain. Every spell, every combination of those 7 gods creates a different spell. There's just way too many spells in the game. Alright, so now Bobo has his Death Arrow Goran's Axe. It gives 3 strength, 3 magic resistance, and 3 karma. Let's do the same thing with Abdelang's sword. So we're going to collect her sword. And... You know what, I'm gonna save and make sure that I actually did her staff right, because I'm starting to doubt myself. Not her staff, her sword. So let's take a look at how it came out. 3 strength, 1 protection, 2 vitality. Yes, that's what I wanted. Okay. So you notice he says intelligence. Well, I'll show you that that's wrong. So if you look at Abdelang, you'll see that her strength is 7 in the yellow, and then to the right of that it's gray 10. Well, I have something that happens to be at 3 strength, or 3 gain. That's Marsh. Let's take a look at her intelligence. It's 5, and then it's 5 again. So her intelligence did actually not go up. Alright, so her sword is correct. Let's continue working on it. Now, her longsword started as 2 strength, 2 vitality. Let's see here. I'm going to enchant with Moon 3 times. Because of her high karma, it's going to take only 1 year. But that's only if I wanted her to take care of that. You notice that the lady's also smiling at her. Now, if I let her finish, or if I go to the Elder, I can change this from Rejuvenate to Add to Life. Rejuvenate reduces years of age, and Add to Life increases hit points. I'd rather, for now, have Rejuvenate, because that's my longer term plan. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enchant this with Venus. This is what I started off with to get Rejuvenate. I did Mars and Venus. So I'm going to do Venus 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now let me check this. I'm gonna save again. Alright, so these are the stats. 3 strength, 5 protection, 3 magic resistance, and 2 vitality. The reason why I did so many extra Venuses is because when you have a secondary effect happening, your stats can go up as high as 5. So I was implanting Venus, but because of the odd chemical balance of this sword, not chemical, but let's say deific. That's a word, right? Deific balance of this sword. I don't know why I'm pointing to the screen, but anyways, because of the odd deific balance of the sword, it turned into Jupiter instead. So when you have a secondary effect like that, it can go as high as 5. But when it's a straight up effect, it can only go as high as 3. Alright, so that's exactly what I want. And if I were to allow him to enchant this, it could be Add to Life. Again, I don't want it, but I can always unlock it later. And that would be most of her money right there. So let's go ahead and take care of Sorella as well. Alright, so Sorella's blue ball now casts Sun Ray instead of Resurrect. I don't really plan on dying much. In fact, I think when I first played the game, I think the only time I ever died was when I ran into a doppelganger. Alright, so we did a slow enchant with Mars, now I'm going to enchant with Mars twice more. Whoops. No! Alright, that should be twice more. And now we're going to do Moon 3 times. Now, what's interesting here is this is a spell I couldn't quite figure out. If I let her finish or I use the Elder to unlock it, I'll get Death Bolt. And that's not to be confused with Death Arrow. I couldn't cast Death Bolt, though it probably requires a lot of mana. And her item should already be finished. This will stop time. Alright, so let's save and I'll make sure everything is exactly the way I want it on my weapon, and you can also look at with me to see what kind of weapons we've created together. So the blue ball, it has 5 strength, 4 vitality, 3 magic resistance, 4 protection, and 1 dexterity. It started off with 4 protection, 4 vitality, 4 dexterity, so it actually started pretty decent. So yeah, it has Sunray right now, but I can exchange it for Death Bolt. I can't cast Death Bolt though, for whatever reason. Maybe I'm not doing it right. As for Glimend, her wooden cane has 3 in Mars, Mercury, and Saturn, giving her the spell of Negate. So let's show you what these weapons or powers look like. Since this is the Master of Dark Marsh episode, we'll go ahead and work from here. Yeah, and the zombies are right here. Like I said, they're like right next door to this dude. Okay, so that was Negate, and the white flashing, that's Negate. Of course, they're all casting spells, but you saw the zombies stop moving. Alright, so let's swap out. So that was this wooden cane right here. This blue ball will cast Sunray, the little ray beam. It's fairly good because it doesn't skip enemies. Some spells skip tiles. So watch it. It just punctures all of them. I couldn't get any use out of spells like Timidness or something and Turn Undead. It didn't turn anyone. It made them flash, but that was it. What else we got? Goran's Axe. That's Death Arrow right there. And this is Rejuvenation, but I don't have the mana to use it. You need 200 mana, I only have 125, so she'll need to keep leveling up. Alright, so that should be it for this episode. I'm going to attach this to the end of the Dark Marsh. So this should be the first time I say goodbye to you. Thank you very much for watching Tran wins Sorcerian. I'll see you next time.